Well, I had a few people ask for it, so I figured I'd give it to you guys. This is a full build video on the 78 Chevy K20, going from the start to finish, from when we drug it out of the barn, the old original donor engine, which was a P-pump 24 valve that we actually hurt, and how we got to put the 6.7 in it. So, done a lot of work on this truck. It's been a really fun project. I've probably got about 500 to 600 miles on it now. I've been driving it quite a bit. I drove it all weekend this weekend. And after drag racing and everything else, it's been just running flawless. Everything's been really good. So hope you guys enjoy it. This will be a video on the full build of this truck right here, start to finish, guys. It was so fun doing it. We had a great time, and hopefully we'll be able to do a better and bigger project on the channel similar to this. I think we got some stuff coming up that'll be really cool to do. But right now, Project 78, check it out, guys. Diesel 24 valve Cummins, which we figured out was not as bad as what we thought. So at this point, what we're going to do is get this thing dialed a little bit better. We're going to fix the cooling fans on it. They are not working. Fix a little bit of the wiring, fix any kind of leaks. We may have a boost leak or an exhaust leak. I'm not sure. We want to check everything over, make sure it's good, take it out, rip it, make sure everything's still in tip-top shape, because we got some plans for this thing that's pretty cool that we want to make sure everything's working right before we do it. So Justin's gonna get back on this thing. We'll get her back in the shop, get it dialed, get a couple of electricals fixed, clean it up, and we'll get her back working just like before.
Let's see if she'll go. Dude, fuel's not on.
Oh yeah, I might need that, huh?
Say she's alive and well.
Why can't I do that out of dang Cleetus car?
Look at all the oil that came out of it.
She does that from time to time.
Oh my goodness.
We should probably fix that front seal, huh?
Yeah. Hold on. Have a little.
I'm over doing burnouts in it. We're gonna make it do something else. So guys, be prepared for the next saga of the Cummins diesel 24 valve that we have, P-pump motor. Look how raggedy she is, and I freaking love it. Here we go, guys. You ready? So we finally got a plan for our 78 Chevy pickup we've had sitting in the barn here forever. And the plan is we are gonna body swap this onto that Cummins frame, which is, I think, gonna be badass. And we're gonna take the body off this frame. This is a 78 camper special body, and we are throwing it on that Cummins frame with the Cummins engine, and we're gonna try to do an automatic swap on it. Step one, bed is off. We got a lift about to be opened up, and our cab will be next. Well, we got her on the lift over here. Pretty much got everything else taken off right now. So everything's unbolted. The cab is unbolted. All the wires are unbolted or undone. The what do you call it? All the power steering lines, the steering shaft, the wires, everything we think is unplugged enough to lift this thing up. Clutch slave cylinder, all that stuff is off. Shifter out of the transmission. So we're hoping we can literally put the lift under this thing, start picking the old cab up, get rid of her. Well, the cab is off and we have our frame. Now there was a little issue that we were worried about. It looks like the frame on the very back couple feet is tweaked a little bit from when we hit the wall in Bristol last year. It tweaked it over just a hair. Looks like all this is pretty straight, but basically back here it looks like they actually bolt these frames, will, you know, rivet the frame together, or there's a piece that connects the frames right here. So this whole back section is not a one-piece frame, it's a two-piece frame. So it looks like it's tweaked this over just a hair back here. Not a huge deal. We knew that we probably would have to do something with it, and so we're gonna try to find someone with a frame machine. We'll cut this big bumper off the back, hopefully find somebody we know with a frame machine and see if they can maybe tweak it back for us. It doesn't need to be done much. If I can get the equipment, we could even do it ourselves, just by eye. I mean, it's probably less than an inch, maybe an inch or less, but an inch or less in 10 feet is, you know, that's quite a bit. So you know, not 100% sure, but pretty sure that's what we got going on. So we're gonna talk to some people that do this stuff. Maybe we can figure that out and we go from there. Resurrection. Looking good. You wanna hop in this? Looking freaking good, dude. I don't care. She's looking pretty rough, but it'll look just fine once we get it out in the open. Get her cleaned up. She's got a little bit of cancer on her, but that's what we want. We want a little patina. I don't want some clean, super clean truck that we gotta worry about. Rat poop's good for you, man. It's good for your fingers, your hands. It's like a moisturizer. This is a lot of rat poop. Shoo! Man, that rust got a lot worse. That's okay. We'll fix that. Maybe fix that little bit of rust. Otherwise, she's solid. What do you think, bud? Not too bad. Just looks like it's been sitting for 15 years. Yeah. Which it has. This is a perfectly good running truck I brought home and just completely tore it apart. Just give her a little spit shine before we pull her on and getting all the knocking the dust off. This is probably the worst part here, is that this is rusted. This was not like this whenever we parked it, but it's obviously been parked now for going on about 15 years. you know, I think swapping this body onto this later model chassis is going to be super cool. And before you guys give us a bunch of crap about doing that, the reason we're doing it, because a lot of guys are going, what, you just put the Cummins into that? Why don't you do this? Look, guys, I want a four-wheel drive truck, and now I've got a later model chassis, later model axles, easier to get parts for. This, I know this has been done. People have done it before. I know it fits. So I know going into it, we're going to be able to make this thing work. It's going to have better brakes. It's going to have a better suspension. Everything is going to be much better on it. So that's another reason why we're doing this and putting it onto this chassis. This chassis here, I don't know if anybody's interested in it. I'll have a clean C20 chassis, I guess, if somebody wants it. Now that we got our Cummins cab over here, she's sitting off to the side, out of the way. And we got our 78 truck right here on the lift. Here, I pick up the bed off this thing. Justin just got all the bed bolts out and loosened up. Clean that whole rig out. The bed's pretty solid. There is a rust spot there, which maybe we can fix that. And then we're planning to do like a bed liner or something over it. Cab number 2 is off. Nah, she's not terrible underneath. Not the best, but not the worst. Think we can work with that?
Oh, we're gonna work with it.
We're working with it. It's happening. It's going on. All right, we'll get this frame rolled out and get our other frame rolled in. Let's see if we can make this thing fit on there nice and tight. So we realize these mounts are 100% not going to get used, and they're getting in the way of trying to drop this thing down. So we're just going to trim those off. The front mounts, we're not sure yet if we're going to build off those or not. Those ones are all still on. We're not 100% sure what we're doing there. We're in the very early stages of fitting the body on the truck, but we can already tell you we've pretty much got it centered with the frame. So it's sitting very close to being centered on the frame. And then we are going to have to move. We are going to have to probably move the motor back a little bit. We're gonna try to get the frame centered where the axle is centered in the fender well. As of right now, it looks like the frame has to come forward about probably an inch or two, maybe.
We gotta go an inch past center.
Yeah, the wheelbase is a little bit longer, so we're gonna go an inch past center, and then that way it'll be an inch forward in the front, inch forward in the rear. You really shouldn't notice it when it's all said and done. Now, it's kind of sitting on the frame right now, but it's not in the right spot. We have to cut the other 2 cab mounts off. We weren't sure where they're gonna line up, so we said, we'll leave them on until we get it down on there. We see that they are not gonna line up, so we're gonna build all new cab mounts for it. So right now, what we're doing is Justin's actually leveling the frame up right now. So he's squaring everything up. So the frame, the concrete's not perfectly level and stuff. You got your suspension sag. So basically he's gonna completely level the frame up right now. And what that's going to do is give us a completely flat surface to work off of. And then he's going to square the cab up to the frame. And with squaring the cab up, the wheelbase is a little longer on the Dodge. So what we had to do was offset the axle a little bit forward in the body lines, which honestly, you can't really even tell that much. I mean, you really can't tell. I mean, it's really like, I think it was a 2-inch difference on wheelbase. Yeah. So we're gonna bring the front an inch, inch and a half forward, and the rear will be an inch, maybe an inch back, maybe a little less. We'll see what happens on that. It fit really nice. The front mounts for the bed actually can just about bolt right through to the bed, which is pretty awesome. The rear, we'll be able to do whatever we want with our bumper. I mean, this came out really freaking nice.
The crazy part about it is, now that it's all together, you can't even really tell what it was or what it is.
Dude, it's coming together.
It is what it is. Get this baby welded in. I think we're starting on day 4 this morning. Let's get this. You can see right here in this cross member, I got a line drawn right there. We got to cut some squares out of that for the cap mounts to go through. And I don't want to take that out because that's the fuel tank. So I'll trim it here, cut a square out of it, cut a square out of it here, and then I can weld it back to that cross member and give it a little bit more strength. We got the cab mount set in place. I've given it 1/8 of an inch to drop because it already compressed quite a bit when I put the bolts in it, so I think that'll be enough. I'm gonna get them tacked in place and set the cab down, make sure we've got our measurements where they need to be. If they do, we'll go ahead and weld them in place. Got some more cab mounts to do. I started welding this one together. I'm gonna time lapse the rest of it. I'll show you putting the other piece on, and I got another one to build too. These are actually for the bed. You see I've got a notch in them. That's going to notch over the top of the frame. It's going to be under the frame, and that's notched out to where it'll go around the curve of the frame. This will be above the frame. I needed 1 inch right here for the mount for the bed. So this is what I came up with. The bolt hole for the bed will be over here, because the original ones on the Dodge frame, the bolt was over here. So on the Chevy frame, they're over here. We'll go ahead and do that. We'll get a hole drilled in the top of them. So I need 4 of these. You can see I marked out 1 on here. I've got another one right here. So I gotta make 2 more of those. And these are the front mounts. They're super simple, so there wasn't really anything to show you. I just cut some pipe on a miter, and I'm gonna drill a hole in the top of it, and that's the front bed mounts. It's super easy, nothing to it. And then once we get them in, once I get the body back off it, I'll cap this so it's nice and clean, grind it smooth around it. And the same thing on this. The reason I angled this right here, you can see it's angled back. I'm gonna put a piece of plate on the end of that and grind it and make it smooth, because that's what you'll see. That'll be above the frame. So you could potentially see that if you looked in from the outside of the truck. So,
look at that, dude. My guy. Clean, dude. So obviously once we pull the cab back off, finish welding everything. And that way we can get some, we're gonna put some caps on the front mounts so they look a little cleaner too. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with the frame after the fact. But for now, she is mounted and we are 1 step closer. So now that it's mounted, the next step is to pull the cab back off, pull the bed back off, and move our engine. Now that we have the body lifted off of it and the bed off of it, what we're gonna do is we're getting ready to pull the transmission out so I can go with the auto one. This guy needs the manual one. We're gonna swap them. So before I go doing that, we're gonna set up an angle finder here. 6.1 degrees, basically 6 degrees. 6 degrees back, it's what the engine's sitting. So we know that, so when we move it back, as long as we have it at our 6 degrees, there shouldn't be any kind of issue at all. Like we were here not too long ago.
So on the frame, you can see I've marked some points of reference. That's from here to here, that's 5 inches. That's from here to up here, that's 5 inches. And down here to here, because this motor mount's, this motor mount's not all the same, just one single piece. So that gives me all my points of reference. This line I made right here is level to the bottom of that bolt. And this 6.6 is the degree that the top of these two, where the motor mount bolt slides in, that's the degree that motor mount needs to be on. So I'm gonna take a torch now, cut it all out. That's why I cleaned the frame to where I can mark everything out and I don't have to clean it after I'm done. Now we'll go ahead and get that motor mount cut out We'll cut, I did the same thing on the other motor mount. I marked it out the same way. We'll cut it out and we'll slide them back. We'll know where they, right where they go. The reason I chiseled it is because you see it ain't cutting holes in the frame, so I figured it'd be better to put a little chisel work on it than to have to weld the frame back up. So everything looks good with that. Now I can just clean that up. That motor mount, it's bent a little bit, and bend it back straight, no big deal, and put it back on. I'm gonna start getting this thing leveled up, getting everything set into place where it needs to be, and then I'm gonna get them tacked into place. And you can see I got a mark here, I got a mark here, I got a mark here. So I'm pretty much right on where I want to be. And then this, I've got a degree set right here, 2.5 or 5.2. I'm a little off that. I've also got that line there, which is going to be the bottom of my center bolt. So I need to come up, and the top needs to go forward. 5.2, that is right where I want to be, right there. We'll go ahead and tack that in place so we can turn the welder on. I guess it's time to see if what I did worked or if I failed miserably. We got the motor right here. I'm gonna set the motor in the frame. So it fits. I got the AC bracket is hitting right there. So it's kind of pushing the motor that way, which is making the other side motor mount not want to go in straight. You see it's kind of opened up right there on that side. So it turns out that the cross member actually fit. I had to notch this a little bit for the trans mount. No big deal. I'm going to use the stock cross member. It fits, it goes in the frame good, there's no problems with it, and it doesn't hit the drive shaft, but in the future it may hit the drive shaft. So I'm going to go ahead and notch this out. So I'm going to cut it, and then once I get it cut, this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to set this in here, and I'll take you guys along for that. But for right now, I'm just going to cut it out, and then I'll come back and bring you guys back in and get you up to speed on what's going on.
Well, we finally acquired our automatic transmission. We got that thing mounted in there yesterday, and to our massive surprise, the cross member actually will work just fine. He had to notch out a little piece in the back, but literally, like, it's almost perfect. So what we did do, though, Justin went ahead and cut the cross member apart today, because now that this thing, normally your mount would probably be right here for a four-wheel drive, but because the way this one's set up, we went ahead and had to put the obviously the automatic, it's a little bit further back because we had to move back 5 inches. So basically he made this and redid the cross member, so now our drive shaft, we have plenty of clearance. So if we want to lift this thing more or whatever, it did clear, but it was very close. So if the suspension drooped or anything like that, we were worried about the drive shaft hitting it in the front. So at this point, we've got our transmission bolted in, engine bolted in, literally got to use the cross member. We didn't have to build one, which saved us a ton of time. which is freaking awesome. Just use the factory cross member. Engine sitting at the perfect degree mark, 6 degrees back is what it was sitting at before. So pretty freaking awesome. We were able to work all that out and get the cross member in. Now we're basically at this point, engine's about to get pulled back out of this thing, transmission's about to get pulled back out of this thing, and it's time to start cleaning up the frame and getting that stuff situated. So we're pretty much done with painting the frame. Everything is nice, shiny gloss. I was gonna do flat black. When I started buying the paint, I said it just doesn't feel right. I wanted the thing to shine underneath. And when you guys see the finished product on the truck, the bed, all that stuff, you'll go, I see what you guys did there. It's gonna look really good. So we got some undercoat. I got most of the cab taped off where I'm worried about, you know, the spray going through the other side and stuff like that. So I got most of the cab taped off there, and I got my lines taped. So it should go pretty smooth, hopefully, and get this thing undercoated. It's already been Osvo'd, so the rust should stop. And we'll get that undercoating on there and see how she looks. Man, so we knocked this out. The engine compartment is almost done. We're gonna leave that and we're gonna clear it. I just kind of like the OG red paint on there, so we're gonna try to leave that and clear it. If it doesn't work out, we can always paint it flat black. We went ahead and undercoated this with some just store-bought undercoating. It did okay. Got rid of all of our rust. We Osvo'd it and then obviously sprayed it with the undercoating, so it's like a rubberized undercoating. You know it's bad when you blew up the shop vac, so you know you have a problem. Well, guys, we got it back in the shop here, and it is coming along. We didn't want to repeat a bunch of stuff. You guys already saw us put the engine in before, got it all mocked up, did all that stuff. So basically right now, we've got our cab, which has been freshened up. We got our frame here, which has been freshened up. Everything is sitting in the frame right now. It is completely bolted in. We pulled the injection pump off. We went ahead and resealed the side cover. We pulled the turbo off, resealed the manifold where we had a small leak. And then once we get the fuel tank in it, this cab can finally come down for hopefully the last time, and we can get this thing dialed in. We got some fresh cab mounts to put on it, so we'll probably do some adjustments on the bed side and the cab side. Not a big deal, but guys, we are this close to getting the cab set down. Literally put the fuel tank in it and get this thing set down on it. How's this feel? Good. Hopefully tighten it down for one last time here.
Real good.
All fresh cab mounts, bushings, everything is fresh, so should be good there. We already got the back started, so we're starting the front now, and then we'll do the middles.
We got fresh bushings, fresh bolts, fresh paint, fresh rust.
Truck's coming together. Well, she is back out in the sunlight, and it is looking, well, it's a gloomy day, but it's outside the shop. First time we've had the cab 100% bolted down and set the engine exactly where it's gonna be. Everything is looking like it actually fits. Now we get to start on the assembly in the front.
Not a lot holding this thing together up front. Somebody did part of the work for me. We can see what we got now, and as I thought, that intercooler is going to come out into here somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where, but out into here. So this is going to be, we're going to have to move that. And that I may be able to just adjust this some, possibly get it to work, or we may just build a different mount from down here, from down here to here. We'll see about that. But those two structures there are going to be our problem. We're going to have to build something around those. So that's what we got. I'm gonna get the. All right. So to kind of bring you up to date, we've come a long way. Upper radiator hose, the stock one works. The bottom stock radiator hose works. All the stock intercooler piping works. Put an S&B intake on it. The S&B boot, it's got a little bit of a bend in it, which makes the stock piping work down to the intercooler. You see the intercooler's in it. The radiator's in it. It's mounted. The intercooler's in it. It's mounted. Made holes for the intercooler to go through. It's in. Bottom turbo pipe's on. Bottom radiator hose isn't on, but it does fit. So we're coming along. Next will be, I gotta pull this apart, paint all this in here, and then start working on the brakes.
So we got the OEM Dodge aluminum intercooler in here, which fit perfect. Justin had to cut some holes out there. We're gonna have to remove a couple brackets, but nothing that's structurally gonna make this thing less strong. So we got that stuff there. The power steering lines, boom, they all work. The Hydro Boost, Justin had to custom build a bracket for the Hydro Boost to hook up. The rod hooks right to the brake pedal though. So this truck had a brake booster, now it has a Hydro Boost. So that had to be assembled a little different. We're gonna have to do brake lines on it. The throttle cable, we're gonna go snag that out of the Dodge. I think it'll fit right on this thing. And guys, so far this thing is just coming together really nice. Steering shaft, it's got a little bit of an angle there. I don't think that'll be a problem, but the steering shaft went right in. We got the top plates for the shocks, which we built last night. So they are hanging, drying right now, which they're dry as can be. So we got the top plates to go on. So that's what I'm gonna do right now is, oh, and we also got a 1-wire alternator. So that thing is about to go on there, and we're gonna get that thing on there and hopefully not have to deal with that regulator and stuff we had on the firewall. But We got the injector line cracked loose. I don't know. Let's just see if it happens. We got the 50-year-old harness here that we're hoping it fires this thing up.
This thing's a Chevrolet. It's going to start.
It is a Chevrolet.
It's kind of a Chevrolet. Question about
It's a Frankenstein Chevrolet. Do you want to do this, or do you want me to?
No, that hooked up fast wire.
We didn't fully wire everything yet. We're still working on a couple things here.
Want to make sure we got fuel up to the motor.
Yeah, that worked out good. That worked out really good. We definitely have fuel to the engine.
Shut off.
Well, I'm trying to wire this thing in so I can.
Vice grip it to the
nut. Yeah, I'm trying to just push it loose. There it goes. All right. Well, you want to do the honors?
There you go. I don't want to run it for long until we get something on it because I don't want it to smut up the firewall.
That's fine.
Check the battery from
Pretty tight. Hit it. Oh yeah. Well, we hooked the injection pump up and we think we got the fuel leak stopped. So we're gonna, huh? I did. Yep. So we are going to try this another time. Ready? Send it. May need a starter. Hey, what? They're tight. Try it. That's the starter. Cap the old girl. Go ahead and hit it. Is that just our luck? Try it. Ground wire on the start. Try it. I think the starter wire is loose. I think the big wire is loose, I think. We're gonna give it one more shot. Ready? Yep. Let me try smacking her. Maybe it's, you know. Throttle's working. Fire me up, dude. Big day today. Big day. That's awesome. Heck yeah. Let's go. We got all our relays mounted on it. We'll make a nice cover for it. You won't even know it's there. So everything is getting dialed right now. Everything is so close. Once that switch and all the wiring is done, we're gonna put some ATF in it. Then we're gonna have to do the ATF, get the motor all topped off, build an intake for it, which won't be nothing. And then we go in the interior. We have a ton of interior parts coming from LMC Truck we got ordered up.
Back, make sure we ain't got no leaks. Nope, no leaks, no dripping. There's no brakes, so I'm gonna make sure it's in neutral. Remember neutral. Oh, baby. Praise the Lord.
It is running, so that's a plus.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for everything to work like it's supposed to right from the start.
The tumbler just said no more, sir.
That's awesome.
It just said, no, we're not going to work anymore.
Yeah, thing's only been working since 78. The good news is it started and shut off with the key, and all the fans are on.
It's true.
I
can hear
the fast is running.
Yep.
So.
Well, here, I'll fire it up. Well, she's running again, and we just bled the brakes. Got all that worked out. Brakes are bled, so now I can actually put the trans into gear, make sure it actually engages.
I'd say the lockup is on. So glad to see that thing moving on its own power. Oh, and the headlights work. She goes through all the systems anyways.
Yeah, I mean, everything's working, everything's on.
And it shuts off.
What's that?
And it shuts off.
And it shuts off. The ignition's still screwed up. We got to get a new tumbler, which I think we could probably get easily
Advance
tomorrow.
should have one, yeah.
I would imagine we could maybe pick one up pretty easily. And then, but yeah, brakes are horrid. The brakes do not work.
Yeah.
I don't know if it like pushed the front tire out there or what. Idle's really high right now. We got to lower the idle a little bit.
High.
So we had it up high just because we were doing burnouts and everything else with it. Now we'll lower it back down. But all in all, I mean, it does move under its own power. So that's a big plus.
Yeah.
And it steers fine. Steers decent. Feels like regular steering, but the brakes are like shot. I'm fired up. Everything should be good, I think. I think everything's good.
Easy on that door.
Easy on. Yeah, our door's a little messed up.
The top hinge. So it turns out neither one of us know how to drive an automatic. It's in gear. Hold on.
It's been a while. Why is it in gear?
Because I was gonna put the
unbelievable.
Because I was gonna put the cover on, but I gotta pull the shifter apart to do it.
Oh, I pre-programmed our channels, but it didn't hold the program.
Oh, really?
Hey.
You got to put them both. This is a twin stick. You got to put them both in gear to go. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Woo! We're a little light in the rear.
like the fact the floor's all good and solid now. It's ready to go.
I think it's ready. I think it's okay.
I think it's more than okay. This thing's gonna incinerate these tires. You can almost pick the back of the truck up.
Hey, look back there. There ain't nothing back there.
Hey, I know what's wrong with it. Ain't got no bed on it. How are those brakes feeling? Oh,
to the floor.
Oh, that felt good.
Yeah. Oh, the tires. I mean, it should run.
For sure. It ran before.
Heard that before. Sure ran before.
Gotta love them welded up rear ends. Should drive just like a 01 Dodge.
01 Dodge Ram. Hey, Scott.
Oh, easy. Don't want to get that in your eyes.
It is a lot different than that auto.
Yeah.
I mean, that manual. We're finally getting the frame fixed. If you remember in Bristol, we smacked the wall real hard on the Dodge when we were doing a burnout, and it pushed the whole frame over, tweaked it up. I reached out to John. He said, dude, it won't be a problem. We'll get this thing straightened out. Shouldn't be an issue at all. So we're going to get this rig unloaded, get on his frame machine. I've never done any kind of frame work, so this is like really interesting to us because I've never.
Yeah, I got a couple frame machines. I've straightened some crazy stuff.
Really?
So,
yeah, no, I've never in my life messed with it, so I'm real curious to see how all this works and hopefully be able to. I think you crank on some chains or something and tie it
put
down.
Some chains on there and push the button and
Fire
hope
me
for
up.
the best.
So now you're kind of setting up now to actually pull it, right?
This is the actual setup to the pull, so that we got it. Let's lock that side up. We want that side to stay where it is, and we're going to put it to where I can pull this whole cross member and everything that way, and we're going to pull it down and over.
Gotcha.
That's how much we're off.
How far off is it?
An inch. That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I thought. It was about an inch.
About an inch, but when we put the back, pretty much pro now.
I can tell. From back here, just watching it, it looks like you're just gonna fold the frame up.
Yeah, we're still way up.
It's moving.
We're still way up. We got this. I think it's rain.
Boy, she's getting close now.
Yeah, I think it better go now. Yeah, it's pretty close.
Let me measure it.
If you look at the back of the cab, may be a little crooked on the mounts. One mount may be tighter.
yeah. How's
Look at
that look?
line behind on the back of the cab is
Perfect?
Perfect.
That is awesome. That was what we needed, that one more inch. It is, looks like it is down a hair, but you think it's, oh, it's like down now? Looks like it might be down.
Oh, we still got pressure on the chain. So before we go crazy, come do all that.
Oh, you're saying all those? Yep, yep.
Now the back of the cab to that frame is perfect now.
Perfect. So at this point, the truck ended up getting finished. We got the bed on it. We took it up to my buddy John, had him clear coat over the patina look on the paint. So that all got taken care of. And then we took it out, started driving it, running it. You guys saw a few videos on that. And then we ended up hurting it at Christmas tree drags. We ended up blowing a head gasket. We torched it bad, blowing oil out. But since day one, this engine, it was a little more hurt than what we originally thought. We thought the engine was actually in better shape, but it was not. It was hurt. It had a little bit low on compression just all the way across the board, and then a couple of the pistons were really bad. So we decided the best thing to do was get away from that mechanical P-pump and go with a common rail engine. My buddy Brandon got us a 6.7 common rail, which I think was the best choice we could possibly do on this. And we went through the engine and made it right, which you guys are about to see. But this is pretty much how the truck looked as soon as we got it done with the P-pump 24 valve. Came out really awesome. Loved it. Drove it for a little bit. Ran it at a dirt drag, I think, went to the drag strip, and then we had our issue. So enjoy that, guys. We'll show you how we ended up going with the 6.7 now, why we ended up swapping that in there. You guys can check that out. Pretty cool deal. And thanks for coming along for the journey, guys. We're here today with our 1978 Chevy pickup that we did a full body swap onto our 01 Dodge Ram frame with a 24 valve P-pump Cummins diesel. It's been a great project. It's been a great truck, but we hurt the head on it at the last time we had it out. She's up, and we're back on to some work on this rig. Next up, engine's gonna come out. It's pretty self-explanatory at this point. Get the motor mounts done, converter bolts, transmission bell housing bolts, and the engine will come right out of this beast. Well, the old engine is out. We are looking freaking good here, guys. Our new to us engine, boom. What's that say? 6.7. Guys, we are gonna throw a 6.7 diesel in it. This is a Cummins later model engine out of a 2010. Our buddies over at America TV. Check them out, America TV on YouTube. They've got a burnout truck. They've got a freaking monster truck. And then they've got several other toys they love to go play around with. So pretty cool. I talked to him. He does a lot of buying and selling these engines, Brandon over there. And he's like, dude, I got you dialed. He's like, let me get your other engine, because he wants the P-pump stuff for a project he's working on. I wanted to go to a common rail setup. The reason I went this route, mainly because it's gonna be more streetable. This engine here, I could have played with it, could have dialed in, could have tuned it more, got the P-pump dialed, and it could have been more streetable. But I was like, you know what, man, like, it still would have never been the capabilities of what this engine is for what we're using it for. in. New engine, ready to go. 6.7, going in. Just wait till you guys see the outcome of this thing. It is going to be awesome. But just got the head back. I mean, it looks phenomenal. This thing looks great. I mean, they fire ringed it, new valve seats, screw in cups for the coolant system, so this thing shouldn't blow any of the freeze plugs out of the head. Sorry, you're mind blank there. But everything, I mean, this head looks freaking brand new, so they did a phenomenal job on that. So we're happy with that. We got that back. These parts, advanced cylinder heads over in Winter Park, Florida. Thank you guys so much. They took care of us really good, had us in and out. On top of that, we got this table of goodies. Got a lot of good names involved in this. We got a D&J billet valve cover going on it. We got Fleece Performance fuel filter delete. Good alternator on there because we had to convert the alternator to a 1-wire. Pusher intakes. We got our pusher intake set up right here. Another Fleece part here. We got our Fleece coolant bypass. Fleece turbo swap kit for the S400 turbo. We've got the wiring harness from Fire Punk Diesel, so we're going to be running a standalone harness, which is going to help us eliminate anything we didn't need on the truck, stuff we're not going to use anymore, air condition, that kind of stuff. Eventually we plan to put a vintage air in it, but we're going to get everything running right, get the truck 100% done, and then we can add the vintage air after that. So on top of that, we got a Hamilton Cams 188-220. We've got a fire ring head gasket from Hazley Machine. So I mean, we've got a badass list of parts here. I wanted to make this thing stout and make it hold up to the abuse that we're going to be throwing at it. One more, buddy. I think it's one more low. There it is. She's out. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this tray in here. That way, if anything decides it wants to come out or fall out, it falls into this tray and not into our engine. All right, we got all of our new lifters in, so that is ready to go. At this point, we're going to go grab our cam, get our cam gear pressed off, press it on the new cam, and then slide that old girl in here, and cam swap is done at that point.
Not too bad.
It's a long ass, heavy, long camshaft. You know, this is not a...
That's a little longer.
This ain't a small block Chevy camshaft for sure.
Not a 4-cylinder.
See, that'll do it, man. That looks freaking... It's so sneaky. Oh, these are tricky, man. They're long. Oh, yeah. And then he's going to line his top dead center marks up. So the engine is at top dead center. And we like to do that just because it doesn't have to be, but we do prefer that when we're doing anything like this. So everything's at TDC and we know where it's at. This thing looks brand new, baby. 6.7 diesel. Today is the day.
Today is the day.
Now here's something you don't see every day on a 78 Chevrolet. This right here, getting her dialed in. This is how we're gonna be tuning this thing. No more turning screws and adjuster nuts and everything else. This is our tuning, baby. Get this girl dialed.
Today's the day. I'm so excited. That thing got the motor in it. Let's see how this thing runs. Exhaust is starting to clear up. There was a lot of smoke in it, a lot of oil in it. I mean, you know, we just had the motor apart. It's cleaning up now. Still pretty. Woo. How's it feel?
Don't know yet. Still running. is awesome. Not a lick of smoke behind us. Like burning clean, burning right, nothing behind us. That's so cool. Well, that pretty much brings us up to date on where we're at with it right now. We are pretty much done with the project. Check it out, guys. 6.7 swapped, 78, K20 now. One of my favorite things about this truck is the interior. Did the full resto mod. It is beautiful inside. A couple small interior pieces to get for it yet, but for the most part, it is ready to go. Love it. And then obviously, we got our 6.7 Cummins under the hood now. There she is. Big old powerhouse. So, have some fun watching some videos, guys. We've already done a little bit with the truck. Check that out. It's been fun. We're gonna do a lot more with it. Let us know what you guys are thinking. Well, there you guys have it. Complete build, start to finish. Took our 78 Chevy that was rotting away. Probably going to have to be hauled to the scrapyard at some point, and we made it this. Don't mess around, guys. I know you guys got those project trucks or cars sitting in the garage. You know what? You'll get it done. It may take some time. Took us some time. Ended up being a really cool project. We literally completely diverted what we originally had planned for this truck. I mean, every single ounce of the plan got changed along the way, from the type of engine we used, from the type of different engine again the second time, then putting it on a four-wheel drive chassis, on the Cummins frame. This was all literally, this truck was originally going to get a Duramax. It was going to get a roll cage in it. It was going to be a really fast, fun street strip truck, but plans changed. So don't forget, guys, you got those project cars sitting there. You know, you can finish them. It'll happen. It may take some time. It took me almost 20 years to make this something really badass, but I'd rather do that than let this thing go to the scrapyard. Still got some work we're going to do on it. We actually do have some rear leaf springs. The reason that we haven't lifted the rear up yet, I had to find some springs. I found some springs, and I didn't want to put a bigger block. It's already got a 5-inch block in it. I didn't want to put a 6-inch block in it, so we did springs, and I'll put a smaller block if needed. I think I'll probably do springs in like a 2-inch block. So that'll be getting taken care of. And then we're gonna get our air conditioning in this truck. We're gonna get some kind of vintage air system or retro air or whatever we decide to use. I think we're gonna go with vintage air, and we're gonna get that thing retrofitted into the truck and have some ice cold AC blowing on it. But all in all, it's been a super fun project. We're not done with it. What do you guys want to see us do with it? We've been to the drag strip. We want to run some more dirt drags with it. We want to do some really fun and cool stuff with it. As far as the drag strip goes, we do have some front end parts that we're going to be putting on it to hopefully take care of that death wobble issue. But other than that, guys, I'm loving it. I hope you guys are too. I don't know what you guys want to see for the next build, but we got some stuff up our sleeve that I think would be really, really cool. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming along for the ride. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.